Anybody else in here? Participants, me. I guess that's it. It's a meeting ID she gave me. Can you give me a piece of paper for me?
Sure. Does it need to be clean on both sides?
Progress.
Hello.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey.
Oh, you got a lot of words in back here, man.
I do. I do.
Oh, Reverend Suzanne Stover right there.
Yeah.
Right by your right ear. Wow, cool.
This is one of the walls dedicated to who have supported CSL.
Cool. Hey, Al. VJ.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On the cusp of good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. That's right.
Harry's in the desert.
Is Hari in the desert with a horse with no name?
No, he's gone to the fireworks. He's
Oh,
all over the place, poor thing. We had apologies from Stream, Steve, who's traveling again soon. And I haven't heard, somebody, was it Annalia, has to leave at 1:30, but she should be, I think it was Annalia who said that.
at this very moment, we have a quorum, which is
Oh,
exciting
well, let's
for me because we can hold elections.
we can
Oh,
decide
there's
everything.
Analia.
Yeah, Deborah will be here till 1:30.
Okay.
Rabbi Rob is here.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Jonathan, good to see you.
Hello. Yeah, I got the day off.
Yay,
Great.
nice.
I didn't think you were coming, Analia.
Oh, I did say I was coming, but I have to leave at 1:30. The only
Oh,
appointment I could get to go to the vet was at 2:30 in Kilauea, and I
I
live,
see.
you know, through many miles of traffic between here and Kilauea. I thought I could.
Right.
Deborah also has to leave at 1:30. So
Oh.
maybe we should get Deborah's item nearer the top.
Oh,
Oh,
Analia,
without a speaker, don't we have lots of time? All we
Yeah,
have is
except
business.
Deborah's leaving at 1:30 and
Right, but
she's
that's an hour and a half to do just the business. We don't have a speaker, right?
no, that's true. We start right away.
I mean, we should be out of here by 1:30, I would think.
I
unless
think
there's-
you're right.
I was thinking
Yeah.
that
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
start our October.
Not that I'm urging that we ever cut IROK short, but
Oh, Analia, I wrote back to you this morning, so you probably haven't seen it yet, but I answered your email.
Oh, okay,
Just a little side conversation there, so.
okay.
Well, it looks like we could start. Jonathan, would you like to initiate a opening invocation?
I initiate an opening invocation. Would someone like to give it? I can give an invocation if you would like.
he's already filling his oats as the sole co-chair next year.
I can open and, or are you going to do it, Jonathan?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It'd be nice to hear you.
In the spirit of unified faith, we all come together today that we might host a space that people might be heard, that people might have a common ground, that people might have a space where they can come together as one people. We ask that this opportunity for all beings expand, that we might lay down our differences and find where we are the same, that we might grow to understand one another more and embrace our diversity in this human community. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Mahalo,
Thank
John.
you. Well, the next thing on the agenda, Al, is elections.
Okay. All right, so let me go over what I understood from the last meeting about who's running and for what and who's not running. Ari Khalsa will stand for re-election to the board of directors, but not as a co-chair, right? Not as an officer. Is that correct?
D, yes.
Okay. Jonathan Lee will run for another term as a co-chair. These are one-year terms that we agreed on. Suzanne Stover, and help me if I didn't get all of her message correct, will stand another term as coach, wishes to stand down as a treasurer, but will remain until we find somebody to replace her. Is that our understanding with Suzanne?
That was my understanding.
Okay. And Wendy will run for another term on the board, but does not want the secretary position. Rabbi Rob will run for re-election and maintain his title as head of digital marketing, which is not an official position by the bylaws, but it's fine among us chickens for understanding that that's what Rob is. And Aaliyah will run for re-election and perhaps take an officer position in the future. Al Albergate will not run for re-election. And it brought to mind the stirring words I think it was the spring of 1968 when Lyndon Johnson said, "I will not seek, nor will I accept the nomination for president of the United States." I remember we were all kind of in shock. And we ended up with Richard Nixon. So anyway, okay. All right. So I think so. We have. Did anybody? Let me ask this: did anybody receive any nominations from anybody else in IROK? No. How about when you're down at the beach? Any people say, "Oh, you're from IROK. I'd like to be on the board." No such luck. Okay. So in a sense, there's no competition, but I think we'll just go through the formality to officially vote in the people who've asked to be voted in. So that would leave us with 6 board positions for the coming year. out of a potential of 9. We have 9. We filled 7 this past year, but so it's down to 6. So there's still lots of room on the board as we recruit more help. Is there anything else I should say? And then I was, if it's acceptable, I'll just call each name and ask each board member if you approve. Is that okay? Is that about as official as we want to get?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm curious because we had said there were going to be 4 officers and 3 board. And now with.
No, all officers are board members.
All officers are, but I mean,
Right,
non-position holding. you know.
right.
So is that all right then, that we have, people that are board members that are not officers and we have more than 3?
I mean, there's nothing in the bylaws that says that can't be. I mean, and I don't feel like putting pressure on people to, I mean, we don't have the officer positions filled because people, I think, are tired or have other things going on in their lives. And I'm not even seeking a board position. I'm the worst one in a sense.
Oh,
And that's in that way. But yeah, so I mean, what I said, I think I said last month, and I'll say it again, is I think those of you who are staying on the board will figure out how to get the functions of secretary and treasurer and co-chair done. I mean, that's usually how it happens in organizations. People fill in, and whether they have a title or not, and the things that we absolutely have to get done, and what isn't absolutely necessary may not get done. So anyway, so why do I go down the list again? Hari Khalsa for the board. Ari,
Yeah.
voting for yourself,
Yeah,
but not as co-chair. Okay. Wendy's raising her hand. Maybe you can just raise your hands because I think I
Just
can see.
voting,
your
aren't we?
hand.
Yes, sorry.
Yes, I
Thanks,
see.
Ari.
We're
Okay.
voting for Hari, yes.
Ari, you have another year on the board.
Okay, sorry.
I'm sure you're going to continue to contribute a lot. Jonathan Lee for board member and co-chair.
Yes,
Anybody,
okay.
there's any no's out there, you'll have to shout out because I can't.
Deborah can't vote, but she can vote just to support.
It's okay, but the official votes are the board.
Just
But
show
I mean, we're,
Save money. All
most
right.
everybody here is on the board. So. And Suzanne Stover, I haven't heard anything from her, but
She already
basically,
agreed. She agreed to stay treasurer and board.
I got a text from her.
well,
Oh, yes, Analia?
I didn't think she wanted to be the treasurer anymore.
She doesn't
That's
want to, but she's willing to.
And
Oh, okay, you're right, you're right.
I got a text from her saying, thank you for your $200 donation. Because and then I'll talk to you about that when we go, but $100 went right to IROK. And I actually haven't written the second check yet because I want to get your feedback on it.
I sense an extortion coming on, but I'll wait until Annalee.
No, it's like.
We get the extra 100 if.
You should.
Well, all right.
I'm just joking. Emily, I'm just joking.
No,
Because I'm so happy that I'm not going to be on the board anymore. But
hey,
He's giddy. He's giddy.
I'm not happy. I mean, I can still come to meetings and joke with you
No,
guys.
not really. No,
participate.
not really. No.
Oh, okay. You mean that's it?
I think maybe we should ban Al. Since
Oh,
Yeah, take
he's
his
jumped
key.
ship.
What's
We'll
that?
let him. You jumped ship, Al, so we'll just leave you out there with the sharks.
Okay. All right. I'll see what civilian life is like and let you know.
Well, you're part of the past chairman
emeritus.
Yeah,
emeritus
that's right.
board.
He should
Yeah,
have an emeritus title, I
You're
think.
ex officio board member.
and that's a lifetime appointment there.
Okay. Wendy
He's getting,
stepping
TJ?
down from her position as secretary, but willing to stay on the board for one more term.
Yes.
Aye. I
Yes.
vote for her.
I vote for Wendy.
I think you got it unanimously. Rabbi Rob will maintain his position on the board for another year, and with the title of digital marketing coordinator or czar or something like that.
Guy, you know, shows up, you know, yeah.
Okay, that's it. I see Harry twinkling his eyes, so I assume that. Okay. All right.
Can I
And
just ask,
last,
wait,
oh,
may
go
I
ahead.
just ask, Sister Deborah if she wants to be on the board?
Thank you for your kind offer. No.
I thought not, but I did want to ask you because you're very much part of the group.
I consulted with Sister Deborah and she said, come jump ship, the water's fine. So that pushed me over the edge. Just kidding. And last but not certainly not least, our longtime board and chair and do everything possible, Analia will stay on the board for one more year and perhaps accept an officer role in the future when her life situation changes. Yes, for me. Okay. All right, so congratulations to the board members for 2021, 2022, 2022. And that, I believe, concludes the elections.
Boy, that was the fastest.
So, yeah,
was
that's
that?
very well done, Al. May I ask you a few questions?
Who are you going to ask them of the current, the new co-chair? Or for me?
Well, that would be appropriate. That would be appropriate. So we only have one chairman, is that right? At this
Yeah.
time?
That's right.
Okay.
Done that before.
And we don't
Yes.
want to nominate, and there's nobody who I'm looking at here who wants to be the other co-chair? Like the handsome rabbi or Analia, the genius, or Sister Deborah, who's obviously eating something really delicious. No? No?
Wendy, who has worked her butt off this year.
Or
There-
VJ?
That's what I mean, VJ. But
Mm.
there's no harder position than the secretary. I'm sorry. I was a secretary and I was,
No.
except for 1 year when I, when
Can
I,
can I just say something about stepping down as secretary?
Yeah.
What I found stressful was the communication, you know, being responsible to let everyone know about the meetings and to distribute the minutes on time and hopefully get the MailChimp out, which is Jonathan's baby, but we'll get to that as an agenda item. But I just found that stressful. I'm quite happy to help out writing minutes, but I'm not going to be responsible for setting up the meeting, the agenda, and letting people know about it.
Mm.
That might-
Okay,
think
minutes,
I think it's
secretary.
supposed to be the chair that does that anyway, and the secretary just sends it out for the chair. So I
Correct.
think it really goes to Jonathan to prepare the agenda
correct.
anyway, you know, it. So is that not the case, Al? Isn't the
Yeah.
chair responsible for meetings?
Yeah, well, I've always looked at the chair position and by looking at the example of others before me, it is the chairs or when we got co-chairs step in when something needs to be done, whether they have the title or not, and they make sure they either find somebody or they do it. That's what I always understood the responsibility of a chair.
Can you define the chair's role?
The chair's role, okay, I shall read from the official bylaws.
Look.
Co-chair shall share the following duties. Shall preside at all the meetings of the Board of Directors, as well as the IROK monthly community meetings. Now they're one and the same. Shall have general and active management of the business of an advisory council, if one is established, which it hasn't been yet. Shall see that all orders and resolutions of the advisory council are brought to the Board of Directors, so that we don't have that yet.
point.
shall have general superintendence and direction of all other officers of this corporation and see that their duties are properly performed. Shall submit an annual report of the operations of this corporation to the other board members and an advisory council, if established, at one of the quarterly meetings to be designated by the board, and from time to time shall report to the board all matters that may affect this corporation. Shall be an ex officio member of all standing committees. Other than that, it's a breeze, Jonathan.
Wow, it's about everything.
I think it's just, you just kind of make sure, you're looking at the agenda and your own notes, and you're just making sure that everything gets done one way or the other. I mean, you can't do it. So hopefully others will step up and help out.
And there
So-
are interested others, like when we're like Steve Backenoff isn't on the board or something, but
Right.
he comes in, and Deborah
Yeah.
comes in, and Mary Mulho used to come in a lot. And there are people that probably from CSL that would, want to be engaged in the things that we do. So it's not like you're all alone. Sometimes I had more help from outside, well, we didn't really have a board when I did it. It was just 4 people, and
Yeah.
I had more help from other people. So you just,
Yeah, it will Stream, for example, in his latest email, I don't know how many he sent it to, but he says when he comes back from his trip, I think in September, that he's ready to start working on the Martin Luther King Day event.
Yep.
But he needs more help than I think he's gotten in the past. He took on, but he's ready, and it looks like I read that right before we started. I read that email from Gerald Harada from the Zen
yes.
Temple. And so there already is a International Day of Peace program that we can link into if we want to, or have our own separate thing. But so there are ways that we can go until we recruit, I shouldn't say until, as we're recruiting new people to be active in IROK. And so one way or the other, it happens. And we're all people of prayer. So that's the
School pray.
foundation.
I have one question. VJ, are you willing to be the minutes secretary only?
You can say yes.
I'm willing to take notes and then pass them on to the person that's going to correct them and then send them out and make the agenda. Yeah, I
Okay.
can take notes.
Would be Jonathan.
But I've always had an editor because I always make mistakes. So I always had Al. So I'll need somebody to double check it.
Al's a great editor.
Give it to, we'll double check.
Yeah, I can't promise that I'll continue that role
No, I think
as editing of the note, not every month, maybe occasionally if in a pinch or something.
If we pinch Al, he'll do it. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the principle at work here.
Okay. So it looks like we got the elections finished. What's next on the agenda?
I see digital marketing update and comments, Rabbi Rob.
Right. Or would you like to do something that Sister Deborah wanted to do before she had to leave?
Oh, that's right. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Is that right?
Okay, let's
Sis-
jump into
Sister Deborah?
International Day of Peace. So I know the last time I heard from Gerald and, oh my gosh, his cohort, Mark Jeffers, that they were aiming to do a 3-day sort of sequence from Sunday when we do something to the 21st, the actual day this year. So I had the thought of proposing to them that we would have a theme of storytelling, and I would arrange storytellers to pre-record their presentation. And it would be perhaps an hour program that could be announced by our organization and their organizations for Sunday, the 19th. I did notice, just interesting, our friends who helped us a year ago, Ben and Irina, they are in the middle of a Peace Week event, an international extravaganza. But I peeked ahead at International Day of Peace, and we're actually on their schedule. So they're hopeful, and probably when they finish this, they're going to reach out and say, can we put you on for 2 to 3:30? What other thoughts have come on the board?
Well, I responded to Gerald Hirata and all of you, that what, you know, because I'm like, I am actually leaving August 9th and I will be returning October 19th. And so that is like the whole time, you know, that would be the planning time really. So when Gerald Hirata said, hey, you know, this is great. I'm like, could we co-sponsor it? Like they come over here, could we, you know, do something over there? And if we wanted to do something on our website as well, that would be great. But I offered, you know, from IROK to take over 100 of the bumper stickers that I have. He knows that because I went to a Sparks Matsunaga night last year. They had something and I donated them. And so they could be free or they could sell them for a fundraiser or whatever. And then also he mentioned getting perhaps Ellie school kids to make a bunch of cranes, you know, folded peace cranes. And I offered to take Maluhia, our 1,000 golden crane dove, for his event to sort of inspire the kids to maybe make a peace dove out of that. I offered to do that. That was, you know, two offerings from IROK, you know, and that was what I came up with, being that I'm not going to be here. And I asked Mark to tell me a time to drop them off. But
Lovely. How collaborative and supportive.
yeah, thanks.
And of course, if you happen to have, you know, a peace story that's just bursting in your heart, we could record it before you go or even while you're there. It's not like you couldn't participate in that way if you felt inspired to do so.
So are the peace stories that you're soliciting our own personal peace stories or peace stories that we've heard through the ages or something that?
Either,
okay.
yes.
Okay. I've got
We've
one
done,
with 4-year-olds that will just blow your heart. You know,
oh,
it's a mediation that I did with 4-year-olds at a preschool, and it was
ah,
sweet. So that might be something I could offer. How do I record it? Just on my phone and send it to you?
well, I could have a Zoom meeting with you and record that. And that, I believe if I work with a rabbi, we can take it from my Zoom and put it on our program that goes out. I don't know too much about the technical part, but I know I can record Zoom sessions.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to think about your calendar and then we'll talk?
I could go get my calendar. Yeah, because my time is like really spotty between now and then. My grandkids are coming. My husband is gone now through the 15th of August because his mom, I'm sorry, the 15th of July because his mom fell. And his sister is undergoing chemotherapy. He's got a brother in Texas who was able to come up for 3 days because he's in the middle of building a house. And their other sister lives an hour and a half away. She's a nurse, but she's been taking care of Betty on and off like this for years. So let's see, where are we now? How I'm looking here. What about Wednesday the 30th? What are your hours like, Deborah?
You're proposing a Wednesday next week?
Yeah, because July is, you know, our grandkids are coming over, and then we're gonna fly over just before we leave for 2 months, the end of July.
Anytime 2 o'clock in the afternoon onward, I could let's see, can I record that while I'm in my car? Yeah, if my computer is fully charged.
All
And
right.
it will be a background where you are that will show. I won't be doing an interview.
Okay. All right. So do you want to give yourself, are you sure you want to, after you want to do it in your car, or you want to wait till you get home somewhere? I mean, what, I
Well, let's see.
want you to be comfortable.
You
too.
know, by 2 o'clock, I should be at a shady place where I recharge my car. If we made it 2:30, that would be very easy for me.
2:30. Okay. 2:30 on Wednesday.
And I will email you a link in the meantime, so you'll have the info you need to join the Zoom meeting.
Great. Have a
Thank you, Analia.
We got to
Watch
start.
out.
We got to start.
Yeah,
It's a great story. Okay, 2:30.
Watch out for those characters in that shady location.
I was thinking the same thing. Hey, you know, I was really thinking that Gerald Hirata would be a great board member for us.
Yeah.
I have, you know, I've gone to events with him, and like a lot of those golden cranes that are on our dove were from his Zen temple.
Yeah.
And he trusted me with them. You know, these were the little Japanese ladies made these. They have to be used for peace. And, you know, I made a point of showing him, and I took the dove over. I've taken it over there before.
Who
But-
made the dove?
We did. It was IROK's dove, and I forget the name of the lady that did it.
Oh.
She was a friend of Jeffrey's. But I made the pattern. Like, I found a pattern that I liked, and then small, and then I blew it up, you know, 1 inch to, or whatever, on graph paper. I did it and blew it up, and so she had the pattern. And then we put that on a blue background, we traced it. She was able to get the doves on that. And apparently it's got to be exactly 1,000. Like, the thing that cost so much money was getting it framed.
yeah.
You know, I had paid like for the most of the golden, or at least half of the golden, you had to order them really. They don't have the little origami, just the right size, you know.
Sure.
They'd all be uniform. And Manfred made 100 of them at least.
Wow.
You know, and he'd probably do it again, you know. But the fact that Ellie was doing it, and like if IROK could contribute some already made, you know, like little eggs from Maluhia, our crown, you know, we'll wrap them up. Here's a little, but I mean, it could be fun. But it would be nice if we had someone from the West Side, and maybe more in touch with churches over there a little bit.
Yeah.
We used to have a nice guy, but he passed on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Michael Kitchen, I think was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, he was great. was-
I think. Go ahead, please.
He was the one who first said, "I will preach to the gays," you know, and you know, when UCC churches were like, you know, he said, "You can come to my church."
They all God's children.
All
So
right.
I wonder if Analia or someone else would review for me Gerald's recent email. I, for some reason, didn't get it. Maybe I just missed it because it's been a bit of a whirl.
Okay, I have to go into my other computer because I can't get it on this one, and for some reason I don't know if looking at. I'm supposed.
I have it in front of me, Analia.
Okay, great.
Okay, aloha, everyone. Apparently everyone didn't include the Sister Deborah. Sorry, I won't be able to attend the Zoom meeting today, but would like to provide some information regarding the International Day of Peace, September 21st. The Storybook Theater, in parentheses, Mark Jeffers, and our temple, Kauai Soto Zen, will observe the day honoring the legacy of our Kauai native son and Hanapepe boy, Spark Matsunaga, as we have been doing for the past 8 years or so. It will coincide with the opening of the Storybook Theater's Cultural Heritage Center. We are planning an event that would showcase expressions of peace through art, prose, poetry, music, song, and dance. Exhibits including one for Sparky Matsunaga and another that would celebrate our multicultural heritage on this island. Other components would be a peace march from the Children's International Peace Garden to the World Peace Kanan statue, international potluck, and folding paper cranes. LELE school students hope to get participation from other schools as well, with themes of making a pledge for peace or making a wish for peace. Also, the Hanpa Hangwanji churches across the state will be doing their second annual ringing of the bell at 9 a.m. on September 21st. Attached is the announcement flyer. It's a great event open to organizations, businesses, churches, and schools. The Hangwanji temples on Kauai are at Kapa'a, Lahui, and Hanapepe, Waimea. Our temple participated last year and will do so again. I recall about 8 years ago when we all collaborated and did an island-wide Peace Day celebration that circled the island, starting in the morning and concluding in the evening, from Hanalei to Hanapepe, a lay of events. We should consider doing something like this again. Mahalo, Jerry Hirata, Kauai Soto Zen. I
Thank you.
can forward this. Did anybody else not get it? I can forward this email to.
Yeah, please. I sent you a chat with my email address.
Okay.
Well, I can see how our storytelling will blend well with their program. Maybe it's their program, like you said, that we coordinate with. Unless you found anything going on with URI, Analia.
They are not announcing that yet. They right now it's in Unity Peace Week, you know, and I haven't seen so much for them. They are really hot. I mean, I sent you something that was just one example of I get so many of them though. I'm like, I hate to go to my computer because I've got all these things from Turkey and Africa and Egypt and, you know, United States and all these things. And it just like really bogs me down, which is why I've got to figure that out. You know, I can just get the one monthly thing, but it's really interesting. If I have the time, I like listening to it. So I don't have anything specific from you
Okay.
yet, but
Thanks
will.
for even surveying it.
They will, because they have a representative to the United Nations. And, you know, that's a big day, the International Day of Peace for the United Nations. That's a big thing. So there will be one. Regarding those of you who are not here, what Gerald was referring to is we did make a beautiful lay around the island. We started at Hikina Akala, the temple at Lidgate Park. And I think like I had that group, you know, I was working with that one. And
You and Puna Kalama Dawson.
Puna Kalama Dawson came and they did a prayer and everything. And we blessed, you know, the island for peace. Then later there, Nicole, who was with the Happiness Center in Lahui, had something going. And there was another one too, a labyrinth, I think.
The labyrinth was mobile. It went to different locations. I think it was at her event and then he brought it all the way up to the North Shore event, which I was
Yours.
coordinating, and
Coordinated.
Wendy VJ helped decorate for in Waipa. So we had the labyrinth up there for people to also walk, and craft activities and musician.
It was fun. I went up to that one as well. And then
Oh
there
yeah,
were,
we had class on nonviolent communication.
and then I can't remember. I think they had something at the Zoto Zen temple. And then the very last one was in Kekaha, where Jim was, I think, or we had, at one point, the UCC, the Methodist Church out in Kekaha was engaged, and they did something. But anyway, so yes, it was a beautiful lay. And we took the little squares and invited
Yes,
everybody to take them and make one or two or whatever. And that was where we can say that they were brought together from all over the island.
it was quite an undertaking.
It
The
was quite-
challenge was, as an organization, we're mounting more than one location. We were dividing our forces.
right. But it worked.
Pulled something off.
Can we
I have
move
a
on to
question.
the Peace Day discussion,
Before we do, can I say something?
please?
Okay, I was wondering, is the idea that this would be like a live Zoom event, and that if anything is pre-recorded, it would be played at that live Zoom event? Or is the idea that it's setting up like the Martin Luther King Day did, where everything was done as a big video presentation that played? But it
Which
wasn't
way
live.
is simpler?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm going to be missing in action most of September because of the Jewish High Holy Days that I'll be
Of
leading.
course, right.
And so we have Rabbi Aryeh coming from Omaha, and I'll be co-leading services in person. We start on the 6th of September and we run through the 17th of September, a couple of days off, and then we go into Sukkot. So all of the preparation, starting with the month of Elul, which will be starting soon, and then going into the Jewish High Holy Days and all of this, everything we're doing live this year in person. So my time is very limited. I have never done video like this before. We had, who was hired to do it for Stream? It was
Zelkovsky, Dr. Zelkovsky.
Right. So he did that, in terms of taking clips and then making a video presentation. So that's like that's not in my sphere.
Okay, that was something
Dealing
that
with
he put
videos.
together.
Dealing
You
with
just,
videos.
you connected it with the world of media.
Right. I took that, and then I was able to put it on the website and share it on Facebook and things like that. But in terms of
Okay.
actually creating a presentation, could not. I mean, that's a special skill, that you would want to hire someone, who can put something like that together. Now, a Zoom, that's different, because you can collect videos and then have a Zoom presentation and then play the videos during that Zoom presentation. And I guess one idea was that I'm just thinking of is if you wanted to, have them pre-recorded, you could probably do like a Zoom presentation and then just alone, so to speak, and then bring these videos in, record it, download it, and save it, and then play it, rather than doing something live. So I don't know. I don't know, but it's something that I think we need to look at, someone who has experience doing this type of work, with videos and so forth.
So Jonathan, are your ears ringing? Because this is what we attempted to do a year ago. How did it come out?
I don't know about attempted. We had a fairly successful event.
I ran into bandwidth trouble, if I remember, but we did. We presented some content that touched people's hearts.
Yeah.
And we had the technological ability to do it without tying up Rabbi Rob at a time when he's not available.
Yeah, and it was also attended internationally.
Mhm.
That's right.
which is you know, on your part, I think impressive that we had, you know, interaction with you know, groups worldwide, as well as our segment was part of a greater event. There were of course glitches that we learned from, you know, and I think that's partly due to, I think, excessive modesty. And so I think we can address those issues now instead of waiting. And so I know on my own side, I did not prepare my technological tools as much as was necessary. And so I could have organized a better computer for the day. And so
Mm.
I think that really for the streamlining of the event was really the issue at hand is just sitting down and saying, look, these are the bandwidth issues that we have, these are the electrical issues that we have, these are the space issues that we have, and having a, you know, a tech run through
Mm. Mhm.
more than we did. And so,
Right.
and even with that
Right.
though, we had a successful event. So
So my learning would be not to think I can broadcast from home because I don't have enough bandwidth there. All right. I feel like,
but I know also that part of the bandwidth issues was troubled by trying to do too much on my part. I know I contributed to your bandwidth issues because of the whole like, hey, transfer the videos to me. And there,
oh,
yeah,
I see what you mean. Maybe with that eliminated, my home would have worked.
yeah,
We don't know, but like you say, we'll have a dress rehearsal this time.
yeah.
So with this sense of the style in which we could do it and your willingness, I'll continue to invite storytellers. And if anyone else knows someone who wants to share a peace story, have them text or phone me. I'll set up an appointment to Zoom them. We'll start practicing earlier. And it
So-
looks as though we would have the same international exposure if I can get together 90 minutes worth, because that's the spot they would love us to fill. So they must have thought it was okay. They want us back.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, I was just going to say, so the idea here is that the storytelling would not be done live. Is that right? That it's all going to be pre-recorded? You won't have people who will actually.
That's my
listen to
thought,
live?
to
Okay.
avoid glitches.
Okay.
I don't know that it has to be. There could be some live. We'll see how it unfolds. Because really
And
it was
so-
technological issues, not people issues.
Right.
But what are the in-between things, in between the stories? Is it like an MC introducing and so forth?
Yeah, Jonathan and I can talk about that. Unless you want to commit to being willing to MC right now, Jonathan. We could co-MC, all kinds of possibilities.
There's all kinds of possibilities available for sure. I'm not right in the clarity of mind to commit to that at this moment, although I enjoyed it last time. And then also Hari had a question.
It sounds like we have the Peace Day event figured out. Can we move on to the next agenda item?
Yes.
One of the agenda was to make sure Deborah had her committee. Have you got it? Is it you and Jonathan? Is there anyone? Are you happy with that? Just the two of you getting on? Or and Analia?
Well, I can help until I leave. I mean, I'll record the story. I'll take the stickers over to Hana Pepe and the Dove to inspire them. Because that, if he's talking about their demonstrating interfaith things. Well, the dove is an example of that.
Yes,
So that
it's a lovely piece.
Analia, is it possible to have the story of the dove written up?
I did write it up, but
Or
Oh, you
it
did?
is written up, yeah.
I did write it up and I had it like on it, but I hope I still have it. I upgraded my office and now sometimes I can't get back to like my old documents,
Oh, shucks.
but we'll
Is
see.
Is it possible to have a picture of the dove with the story of with its story posted as a blog post?
Mm,
Great.
mm.
Yes, and I'll send it to Rob. Okay.
And that would be like, so and so's group did so many.
I had no
dove-
idea, but I do know like different faith members that we had Japanese and we had Eckankar and we had Fellowship of the Inner Light and we had whatever Jeffrey was, I don't remember. Advaita Yoga, Brahma Kumari, Hawaiian, yeah. So I can share that in the locations. Yeah.
I was just going to think of, I thought of one more thing, and that is that if everything is pre-recorded except, a moderator in between clips, I mean, the other idea would be for, for instance, Jonathan, Deborah, maybe me, whoever, a few others, just to do a Zoom meeting and then play the videos, do the moderation, and then save it, and then just play it
Have
at
the
the point
whole
of time,
thing.
rather than doing it live. And the one benefit to that is that if there are glitches, you'll know it, you can change it, start over again or something like that. But I'm just wondering, instead of having people come in to watch this live, just to do it that way.
I like
And
that idea.
that might be
And
a
then we
possibility.
would promote that it's on YouTube and on our website, on our Facebook page,
Right.
and they can go watch it on that day.
That's right. And
Interesting.
anytime they want it, because it would always be
Right.
there.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
I think peace is good anytime.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
That
let me
might be, and with the other organization, they could know where, how to get it, so they could play it at their appropriate time. But that might be a good way to try it.
Thank you. What an interesting idea.
But I do want to share that hopefully at some point, we did have meetings and parents love bringing their kids to them because parents talk peace, but it's nice. We had activities that they could do. They made puppets one time, more than one time, and they made chalk paintings on the floor, on the wall one time. We did it at some place where we could do that. They had peace glasses. When I put these glasses on, I'll think of peace, and they were given sequins and feather, anything they wanted to decorate that. But I mean, it's just nice to get people together, and then kids can look and say, wow, all these people think peace is important. This is good. I mean, is a 6-year-old going to sit in front of a bunch of stories, and
It's going to be lovely when we're live again. But at this point, we can't even reserve pavilions. So we have one more year of virtual. Then I think we'll be back to live.
Yeah, I'm just missing that, actually. I won't
Yeah.
be this year, but anyway.
Hey, yeah, perfect.
Where will I be? Anyway, that's going to be interesting. Okay.
Thank you for all the ideas and the support.
Another thing we have are the peace prayers in all the major religions. Those books that we had. Now, it used to be that Brahmanatha Swami would print them for us, and I would make a donation. And he's still not well. But
Yes.
I still have a few. I don't know. They're not put together, so I don't know how many I have. But then I would buy ribbon and we would tie it and put them together. But we'll have to see. He lost, or the original from the text, from the emails are gone. So I would have to go back and try to find in that order. Anyway, we'll see.
Let's move on to item number 2, the digital marketing update. digital
Okay.
marketing update.
Yay.
Sounds good. Could I have permission to share my screen, please?
Yeah, please. How do you?
Okay, so down below where it says share screen,
Yep.
should be a little arrow up, and you can say multiple people can share. When you hover at the bottom, you see mute, stop video, participants, chat, share screen. And that share screen, if you just kind of click that, there should be a little arrow and it'll give you some options.
Share screen.
Now we're sharing your screen.
Great.
But there's one where it says multiple people can share.
Oh man.
But
Yeah,
if
sure it
that's
is.
okay, if that doesn't work, I can just direct people to the website, and that's okay.
Well, we've done this before. Just give me a second here. Share screen. Boy, where I don't know how I got
You
lost.
are sharing your screen right now.
I see that. Nice to see you all. I have no idea how
So at the very top, you can stop the screen share. At least you should be able to stop
I'm
it.
not. Stop share. Yes, stop share. Screen share. Okay, screen share. Multiple participants.
Yes, that's
Here
the
we
one.
go.
That will
That's
do it.
the one. Got it.
Well done, Hattie. Learning with Zoom.
High tech. Yes.
That's right. Okay, so let me
You
just.
never know what IROK can offer. New skills.
That's right. Okay, I should be able to share my screen. Okay, share. Okay, you see all of us. So I know one of the questions that came up in the minutes was with URI and having a tab. And one easy fix on this is that I can change the title of these tabs without going to William. I'll need him to change the URL, but to change the tab, I could do it without asking him to do it. So I was looking at this one tab, policies and forms, where we have a link to the bylaws. And I thought, gee, if I just move the bylaw tab to one of the other tabs here, like maybe under meetings or minutes or something like that,
Sure.
and make this URI. So
Oh.
we can get started. Now, how do people feel about that?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Yes, I like
All
it.
right. All right. And so would the tab name just be like URI?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here.
Wow, we get to see it happen.
I think this should do it. And I hope I didn't try. I hope it does. I think it does. If not, I'll go back to square one. Okay. Let's see here. Preview.
And Rob, URI.org has its own website, and you might want to take things right from there and put them on rather than go through me. Or they go to the website and say, I think this is good. I
There
think
it
this
is.
is good. This,
Mm.
Okay, guys, look, URI.
all
All right.
So
Thank you.
So now we just have the content to fill in. And then the only thing is that you'll see at the very top, this URL still says policies forms. And so I would just ask William, to change that to be URI. But at least that way, and I'll move the bylaws, but at least that way it's done and easy fix, and we can just add the content.
would you want to put the bylaws under about?
I could.
Yeah.
Well, that's a thought.
I like it.
That makes sense.
Yep, I can put that under about too. So that's fine. I'll do that after the meeting. And then I'll also change the homepage and put Jonathan as the co-chair.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll do that.
Yeah.
And let's see, I haven't started looking at the YouTube channel yet for IROK. That's on my agenda for this summer. And so that's coming. And gosh, I think that's it, because I saw in the minutes you did the updates, from the last event, all the Facebook updates and website updates that we did for the for the National Day of Prayer on Kauai. So, and you can see the blog is looking good. We'll get more content. So I don't have anything else to say unless anyone else would like to comment or ask questions.
No, it looks great. Thanks.
Stop my screen share. Okay.
The next thing on the agenda is the MailChimp purging. Is there any news on that, Jonathan?
First of all, I have some questions as to the expectations of purging the MailChimp. What is expected?
VJ, I'm gonna ask you for that.
If you go through the list of hundreds of names, most of them, they are just emails and we have no idea of who it is. And the way that list came up was when people came to events, some of them were tourists or just drop-ins, or at the beach, they all signed and everyone got put on. We have no idea who these people are. And a lot of them maybe aren't even on the island, and I think with the hit list, not that many look. And the only ones that do have names or even affiliation, the usual things we ask for people that associate, we just have a few. And I suspect that there might be people that are regulars that might not be on it, like really important people, and several scores and maybe 100 people that are not interested, don't read it and just delete it, so or maybe look at it vaguely and so we just need to, I lost it and then I found it again, but I kind of tentatively made a letter just saying we'd love to hear from you and asking people to just share their name and if they're still interested and if they would like to keep receiving, so people can everyone on the MailChimp, we can make a really, please respond on the title so they see it. And then we only have those that responded on the mailing list. I imagine we cut out about 70%, probably be about 30% of what's there.
Why?
Because
my
I think
question
lots
also.
of them are people that just signed up when they came to an event over the years.
But what if they happen to get interested in something they see come out? Why not let them have
Why
that
not leave,
opportunity?
why not leave them?
Wherever they are in the
Why not
world.
leave them on?
But the important thing you brought up is make
Bring them-
sure all of our newer people are on there. And that's a bit of a task. Because
But it
the
might be nice
aren't
to-
alphabetical.
But it might be nice to make an invitation for everyone to contact us and just, honestly tell them and briefly that we don't have your name. We don't know who you are. Can you give us your name? And
currently there isn't any interaction between myself, who's operating MailChimp, and anyone who the MailChimp information goes to.
That's right.
And I'm not intending any personal interaction between the recipients of the email and myself. So there's not any interaction between us. So the email goes out and it's the same as if it went to one person or if it went to 1,000 people, or if it went to one address, or if it goes to 1,000 addresses. I'm not intending any personal interaction. It's arbitrary.
well, would you like someone else to get that list of emails and send it out from the IROK address? Not from the MailChimp address. Just say, would you like to keep hearing from IROK and who are you? Something like that in a polite, happy way.
Do you want to have personal interaction with the 360 subscribers?
I wouldn't mind I'm volunteering to send out a one-off. If I could have, I have the mailing list. If I could copy and paste in bunches
Well,
and
right now, I think a level of work is being created that's not being asked for, um, and a level of interaction wished for that's not being reciprocated. What what is going on with the MailChimp account is that it's functioning appropriately. It's giving us information as to the numbers of people that interact with us.
Mhm.
And so I'm able to see data as to what's happening. And I can share some of that information with you, with everyone right now, if you would like.
did you send
don't
out a
you?
MailChimp this week?
So I can just show it to you right now if you would like.
Share your screen. Go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here we go.
So-
Share screen, part 2.
But I don't have access to sharing the screen.
I believe you do.
Okay.
It says multiple participants can share simultaneously.
So I'm sharing the screen. Do
Yay.
you see this?
Yep.
So it says audience. So it's 301, I apologize, and 266 of them are subscribers. And then there will be, so we have no contacts were added recently. But here's the issue. So if I go to contacts, and if I want to manage contacts, and if I want to unsubscribe anyone, I have to do it one at a time. And I have to physically type in those I want to unsubscribe from, that I want to unsubscribe from our account. And
Could I add something here, Jonathan?
yes,
One of the reasons that we moved to MailChimp was any individuals who feel this is just filling their inbox, they can self-unsubscribe.
exactly. So
Yeah.
if anyone wants to stop receiving the information, they can on their own, and which is so beautiful. And so
So the implication is if they're not unsubscribing, they're still interested.
It
yeah.
would seem so.
And so, and that shows by here on this screen, you can see that people have unsubscribed. And so
You can delete them then. You can just do a little tick, tick, delete. That will tidy it up.
That would be good. That would be
why? Why?
You can do that right now. Just go tick, 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 delete.
if they've deleted, if they've unsubscribed, then yeah, you might as well purge.
And then
The,
we'll just tidy it up, for the list.
What does that do?
It just makes it tidier. I mean, if they're unsubscribed, why have to look at all of that? I mean, if you're not, can you just go click?
Are you managing the account?
No, but I'm
No.
just suggesting it.
And so
Something.
since you're not managing the account, does it bother you that it's on the account?
Yes, maybe I'm neurotic.
well, there's another thing. I know that if I unsubscribe to a list, that means I don't want to hear from them again. And if we're still sending things out to them, they haven't unsubscribed.
No, they're unsubscribed.
We're not.
We're not sending anything to them.
We're not. They're unsubscribed.
Right.
So why don't we just delete the name to make it tidy?
Why do you want me to do extra work?
Well, it takes about 5 minutes. Tick, 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 delete.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it doesn't have any, there's no positive end game for that. They're deleted anyway.
So this is what I'm getting at, is that it's just extra work. And I don't know that it comes to any, and it may seem like just 5 minutes and just a tick, 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 tick right now, but it's a lot more than that actually. And so It's,
what advantage
I'm sorry, I lost you on that. I didn't hear the question. Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear Jonathan.
So there was a question asked, I didn't hear it.
It was a robotic voice. There was some technical problem, the person who just spoke.
It may have been Deborah. So anyway, all I'm getting at is that currently my interest is to leave it up to the people receiving the emails, and that having the emails in the list doesn't bother me. And it doesn't seem like it bothers MailChimp. And actually to do the stuff is just more stuff to do.
So the people that have unsubscribed don't get our stuff anyway. So
Correct.
they've self-selected, and there's no reason to really do anything else for that, right?
That's
So
where I am.
Jonathan, the number you have 301 doesn't include the ones on the list that are unsubscribed that you just are just left there. It doesn't include those, or it does?
So it's called, these are the contacts we have. And 266 of them are subscribers.
Oh, so it must be 40, what? 30, 37 are unsubscribed, but they make up the 301. So the
Yeah.
301 is 37, there's 37 unsubscribed, and they're just still sitting there. Okay.
Anyway, it could be a database. I mean, they're unsubscribed to get our newsletter, but they might be interested if we had a special event or something. You know, a one-time thing, they would be a mail out to them. I don't know.
So it sounds like we've covered the topic of the MailChimp digital update, correct?
I have.
So it needs no improvement or change. It's absolutely fine and operating fine. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's operating at it as it should, or according to its own design, you know. And to address concerns, I haven't received any detrimental feedback. So as well, my knowledge of the system is expanding, and my interest in it is expanding. So we'll see how it goes. I would like to make more engaging emails. However, I'm not going to commit to that. As you can see, everybody has a lot of stuff in their lives. So, but
The
my
last
schedule got
topic,
changed again. So now I'm able to make Friday meetings. And we're not having meetings continuing through the next 3 months. Is that correct?
no, I think we should continue to have monthly meetings.
I don't know.
But I'm open-minded. No, Rob?
If you guys would like to vote on it, I make a motion to vote on it.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All in favor?
What's the motion?
All
Can
in
you
favor
clarify the motion?
of continuing our monthly meetings?
Can I offer some discussion for a moment? Could we
Yeah.
have
Yes.
one more going into August? Because that would get things squared away for the International Day of Peace. And then break September and October. Is that what we were thinking? I mean, have July and then break August and September and come back in October.
You know, just for continuity, I suggest we continue meeting on Fridays on a Zoom meeting. I'll commit to continue to, put that together the best I can. Sound interesting, VJ?
I'm interested in continuing the meetings on Fridays.
Okay,
I have-
Jonathan, VJ?
I have a question. Do you want to continue to find speakers, or are we not particularly doing speakers then? Because, I mean, it was my job, but I will not look for speakers unless Should we just,
Well, I like having speakers. I think it also opens the door for us having more community involvement. I know, like, we had an unexpected guest when Joanne Nakamura uh, came to speak, and so I I think it's good for our community. Um, However, I would like it, like, um, if it's causing undue stress in people's lives to find speakers, then I would like to also minimize that. But that's where.
In the past, in my memory, that was not the secretary's role. There was actually a separate person who
We had a program.
had that job, had the program, the head of the program committee or something
Yeah.
like that. So it isn't automatically on the secretary. Plus, you're not the secretary anymore, Wendy, I guess. Are you the recording secretary, the minutes secretary, or the recording notes secretary?
Recording secretary.
Recording. Yeah, so I'm not trying to take it away from you, Wendy. I'm just
no,
saying.
I just wondered if I should keep looking, because I mean, we found, other people suggested, and I found a few, and we have had some nice speakers, interesting speakers. So
The other thing is, one time we had a movie. Remember, we had the Sparks Matsunaga video.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be that if somebody finds something online that is, something that relates to, sometimes URI has things. I can look and see if there'd be something for a speaker.
I have a question too.
Rob?
I remember when we were meeting in person, we had a lot of people who were coming to the meetings. And so when we had guest speakers, they were usually speaking in front of a large group. And we really haven't seen that, here on Zoom, that we have very small turnout. And so when a speaker comes and they've done all of this work to prepare and they just see a few faces, it's not the same as walking into like what we had before, where there were a lot of faces looking at them. And so that's one thing I'm just thinking of. And I'm just wondering, because it seems like we are so small when we gather and we have kind of the same faces, if maybe the guest speakers should come from us instead of bringing someone from the outside. So that way, when meetings start again, in person, that we could, then go out and invite people to come and address the larger group. That was just one thought.
How about if we take the summer off for guests? We keep meeting on Fridays, and we have guests maybe starting in September or something.
or after the Peace Day. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do my best to try to zoom in from wherever I am. Like, I have a schedule, like we're going all the way up to Yellowstone Park, but it's like,
Wow.
doing a peace conference in the middle of it.
Yellowstone.
Spend
Yeah.
a lot of time with Joshua's mom, or seeing family, my grandchildren, old friends from 40 years ago.
I can't wait to meet all these people.
Oh,
This is gonna be great.
I can't wait to see you zooming in front of Old Faithful. Come on.
Yeah.
I wonder how the cell reception is there. But I don't
I've
know
never
why- I don't
been
know.
there. I've never been to Yellowstone. I've been so close. I've been like in Livingston, Montana a few times, which is
You've been
like
to
what, 90
Livingston,
minutes?
Montana. You've been to the tiny, like, end of the railroad, Livingston, Montana, but you haven't been to Yellowstone.
I know, because I was always going through to Minnesota, driving to Minnesota.
That's what Yogi Bear said.
Well, I went to Yellowstone Park when I just quit flying in 1974, and I will go back there again. I have to go back there again. And I found a place in New Zealand that has geysers and bubbling milk, bubbling mud pots and fumaroles and things, which they called it like, it's in comparison, but it's not. It's not. So I want to take Joshua there. We want to go before we can, while we can still walk and, see and hear and all those things,
May your senses carry on through till the end of.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I do all right.
So, so we keep meeting on Fridays? without without many guests throughout for the next couple months anyway. And then when we find interesting and inspiring guests in the fall, like September, which is only 2 months away, we can begin that. In fact, we'll be able to meet in person one way or another, um, definitely by September, October, don't you think?
Seems like it. Yeah.
Even if we have to meet outside in the park, I think that would be a good movement in that direction.
I have a question because most of the invitations I get about the meeting are just for us. But there is another group that has like Nicole Sakurai and Manfred. I mentioned to
There-
Manfred, you
I
know,
think they're on the mailing list.
but is that going out when
The
we announce
invitation
it?
goes out to 266 subscribers.
Okay. It goes out to them. All right. Just open
So,
it up.
and that's the other thing too, is that, you know, as my interest with this grows, having an interactive invitation, you know, the invitation can be spruced up a little bit. It's kind of stagnant. It's easy for, I mean, I don't know how many emails from organizations you guys open, but
Well, since you work at
too,
CESF,
too many, too many.
they do a lot. But anyway, yeah, I like the URI logo. That's really a beautiful, logo. What is our, do we have an IROK logo?
We do.
Yeah,
What,
It's
I'm trying to
beautiful.
remember what it
that
looks
little
like.
dancing people around the little
Oh,
circle there.
I think it's beautiful. I
Okay,
like
sorry. I'd forgotten what about it.
I have a teacup with it on it. Even
Oh, right. Okay.
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
three ghosts dancing around a Earth.
Okay.
for the colored ghost. Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of that, this is just, I've heard from, I have friends who do near-death experiences and whatever, but what I have heard is that like whenever a lot of people die at one time, such as, like a tsunami or earthquake, or now the pandemic, that there are a lot of lost people still on the plane, that they haven't gone to the light, like they're still earthbound. And I just have started just praying for them, that they find their way to the light. And yeah, you too, but I mean, it's like, I just feel like that might be something that we could consider, the souls that aren't with us, that got lost, that weren't prepared, and bless them on their way.
Are you talking about people who are no longer participating in IROK? Are you talking about
Yeah,
all the souls throughout the world?
No, I'm talking about the
Incorporated
people
soul.
who died in the pandemic. And when their souls left their body, they couldn't find the light. They got lost, and they're still earthbound. I
can
don't
we add a
know.
can we add a map to our email for that? Like a map so they could find, if they go back in their emails, they could find the map to the light. No,
Hard.
Well,
what
you
was
do
I
what you wanna
thinking?
do.
I,
I'll
I,
just pray for the light. I don't know. What do the Jewish people do, Rob? You have a whole, when someone dies, there's a whole ritual and everything, right?
Yeah, there is a whole ritual. In fact, during the pandemic, I've been studying at the Gamaliel Institute, and they specialize in Hever Kadisha, end of life rituals, and midwifing the soul, and all of our traditions that we have. And so I'm in the certification program for that, and I've got a couple more classes to go and my final paper, because we take it just all the way from when someone is close to death and how we come in and be with that person, and the vidui and the prayers that we do with that person, and then the whole end of life rituals with the family when someone dies, as well as the ritual with the deceased, because, and this is where the certification comes in that I'm doing too, is with Tahara, which is where we prepare the deceased for burial. And it's where we do the traditional washing of the deceased and shroud and put the deceased in a coffin, and all of the many traditions around the Tahara ritual, and then all of the rituals following that through, watching the body and being with that body until burial, and
Yeah.
what comes after. So anyway, I've been this whole rich tradition of end of life rituals. I'm in the certification process.
But in the
Uh,
pandemic, there was nobody that could go in. Like they
Correct.
couldn't go in to do these rituals and bless them. And so
So
I was Jewish, I felt
Judaism,
abandoned.
Judaism is flexible, and we had to make changes with the times. And so sitting Shiva, for instance, which was normally done in person, became done online. And that's something we'll probably continue, because we could have people from all over the United States and other countries participate in Shiva, sitting Shiva online with the family. And the same thing with our other rituals, like the Tahara ritual, midwifing the soul, not being able to be there to do the traditional washing, but to be able to do it in a virtual environment where we could sit together and do all of the prayers that we would do in that Tahara ritual. And so to create these virtual opportunities so we could still do that, even though we could not do it in person.
And
And-
there is a deathing doula teacher on the island here, because I'm a member of Embracing Conscious Living and Dying, and she can be called upon to help people if anybody needed that. Might be something you'd want, you guys would be interested as a speaker. I don't know.
She was a speaker
It
at
was,
our
I
group.
remember that.
That's-
Barbara,
And
Yeah,
William,
she was a speaker. Yeah.
William has been trained in that as well.
Yeah, I was the member of the original group, and since then that lady started her own
Right.
educational program, and she
Right.
came to speak to us like a year ago. It was like,
That might have been when I was with
Right.
Tom, I was doing it with Tom for 3 months, so.
say we only have one more topic left on the agenda, and that is the discussion, which I'd like to postpone till next meeting for a specific reason. I've been talking to all of you at different times about the future of IROK and the organization and all. And I'd like to have that a focused discussion next time, and just specifically about your dreams and aspirations for IROK. And without putting any responsibilities on those yet, but literally just brainstorming about what IROK could be and what you vision it might be in the future. And I'd like to do that next time. Are there any other pieces of new business?
can I just pick up on Analia raising a huge topic, especially in an interfaith group where we all have different teaching? That might be a very nice topic to amongst ourselves, over the next 3 months, just to share each one of us how we do support the dying and the dead, the ones who have moved on, and and we could each share what we are. I mean, Rabbi Rob's done it, but it might be nice as an hour topic, because it's such a deep thing, and just to kind of casually put it up. So I'm just suggesting that's the kind of topic we might do, or we don't have a speaker, because Al suggested or was it Al that suggested we have internal speakers?
Have a person assigned, just like you have Rob digital marketing, have somebody who's designated for the program committee.
Ari's
Well,
offer.
That's
Next,
what I think.
next week I'll run the program for the discussion.
Next month.
Next month, sorry.
Is that okay with Jonathan?
Okay, Jonathan?
I think having Hari as a discussion leader would be great.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd like to second what Wendy suggested, because one of my great learning experiences being involved in interfaith is always having to, since most of the statements come from religions that are in some ways very profoundly different, in other ways partially different from Buddhism, I'm always translating. So when you're talking about transitioning and going towards the light, that doesn't mean anything in Buddhism. We do have a vision of what happens, and it's that we always return to the universe. And the souls who died in the pandemic are back. They may be reincarnated. There might be your neighbor who moved in next door, the neighbor's baby. They could be the cow across the street in the pasture, but they're never leaving the universe. So if that fits, but I never, I don't know until we have a discussion. Is that the same thing Analia means? Is that the same thing Jonathan means about passing? Because life and death are an eternal cycle in Buddhism. It just goes on and on. There isn't, you never leave the universe, however you might define the universe. So
So
This might
perhaps,
be an interesting
but we do
discussion.
pray for the enlightenment and happiness of people wherever they are, wherever they end up with. So it's not like we don't believe in anything. Yeah.
would you like to have a discussion about death in August?
Would I like to?
If you waited until
Well,
September,
Or September?
Yeah,
the person coming to stay in my house is a hypnotherapist, and he does past life regressions, and he can talk about the in-between time, like what people experience in the in-between time. And I'm sure he would be willing to speak, and
that would be good.
yeah, okay, I'll ask him about that.
For September.
September, yeah, he'll be here from August 6th through, yeah, I'll be gone. Well, he could maybe do August, if he wanted August, but anyway, and then he leaves October 20th. So I'm sure he could do a Friday morning. Would September be better or August?
It's up to you.
Okay, well, I'll ask him. I'll let him choose. Let him feel like he has choice.
No.
He'll be gone before.
Let him feel like he has choice.
October 20th.
That's great. I offer you the opportunity now that you might feel that you have choice.
I've already given it.
Later on, we won't give you that option.
I've already just asked contact information because he'd be great over there. He would really connect. And he's written a few books, so he's supposed to send some. He's got a CHT degree, whatever, which is certified hypnotherapist and then educate, whatever that is. But he also does astrology. So if you believe that the stars are our personal maps, that you can get a reading from him too. But he charges for those.
I think the election has been a great success already because it's sort of unleashed Jonathan's wonderful sense of humor and his perspectives. Yeah. I also wanted to say, I don't know, didn't want anybody to take it the wrong way. I don't think you did that when I said I'm happy to not be on the board anymore. I'm happy not to have the responsibility.
Hey, we all get that because we don't want it either. But we're.
I mean, if I love all of you, and I've truly have learned a lot, and my spiritual development has continued from listening to you and the speakers that come.
Yeah.
So it's not interfaith or participation or IROK. It's just I'm as I've said before, I'm releasing myself from all these kinds of committee and board responsibilities. I just need a break.
Take it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Hurry
Thank you for understanding.
Don't pick it up unless you really want it as a joyful thing, so I gotta go. It's 1 o'clock. So
Okay. Thank you for 1:30. Thank you, Analia.
Time is fleeting here.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Analia.
I think Sister Deborah already left.
I'd like to go ahead and conclude our meeting because we've gone through our agenda and offered new business, etc. So unless there's anything else, Jonathan?
All good on my front.
Cool. If you happen to be down at Anini tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, Me and my posse will be in the water there. You're welcome to join us. Maybe Rabbi Rob will jump over from Honolulu over there. Maybe you can swim over from Honolulu to Anini. I don't know.
Only on Sundays.
Al might be there
Tomorrow's
anyway.
Shabbat.
I won't be there, but probably not until 9 or later.
Well,
But I'll
we'll still
look,
be
I'll
there.
look for you. I'll look for
We'll
you.
be there
This
all
is on
morning. I
Saturday?
think.
Okay, this is tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
It's Shabbat. I won't be there. Sunday.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
you're right.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Never.
Sabbath.
Sorry, wrong day. But yeah, I
BJ.
can swim over from Honolulu.
So Hari, I'm not going to be secretary, so when I do the minutes, I'll just send
Oh.
you, and you can just send them out or whatever, or
You're
You're
edit
welcome
them.
to send them. Yeah,
You
send
can
them to
send-
Jonathan.
Yeah.
I did make a few notes for today's meeting as well.
I'll just write my notes, send them to you, and then I'm done with it. You know,
Okay.
I'm send it. And then
Thank
it
you
has to
very
go,
much.
when it's perfected, it goes to Rabbi Rob and MailChimp and everybody, right?
Okie dokie.
Okey doke.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you, Jonathan, Al, DJ, Rabbi, Rob, good to see you.
And Aaliyah.
Shalom.
Aloha.
Hello.
Aloha.
Boom, boom, boom.